Hello everyone, welcome to Sowmya Tutorials. Class 2nd PUC, subject Computer Science. This is a state syllabus. So here the multiple choice questions. This is the session number 1. Chapter 1, typical configuration of computer system. So in this chapter, it has the number of different multiple choice questions are to be present here. So one by one, we have to be discussing here. Chapter 1, typical configuration of computer system. Question number 1. The question is that which memory among the following should be refreshed continuously to store information? So what are the options here? Yes, RAM. Option B, DRAM. Option C, SDRAM. Option D, DDR SDRAM. So out of this, so which one is the correct answer? So option A, SRAM, which means that static RAM. Static RAM is a type of random access memory that retains data bits in its memory as long as the power being supplied. So that is SRAM. So that means static RAM, static random access memory. Option B, DRAM. So what is a DRAM? Dynamic random access memory. This dynamic random access memory, which must be continuously refreshed to storing the information. So that the DRAM, the definition is that the DRAM should be refreshed continuously to store the information. Option C, SDRAM, synchronous dynamic random access memory. It is a generic name for the various kinds of the dynamic random access memory that are synchronized with the clock speed that the microprocessor is optimized. That is called SDRAM. The last option, option number D, DDR SDRAM, double data rate synchronous dynamic random access memory. In this memory, it's a type of the random access memory that allows higher transfer data rate and the faster performance compared to the another RAM types. So that is the correct option is that option number B, that is dynamic random access memory, because the DRAM, it should be refreshed continuously to storing the information. Then question number 2, what is a bus? So bus, it is the collection of what? What are the options here? Option A, wire. Option B, signals. Option C, components. Option D, commands. So what is the answer? What is a bus? So bus is a collection of parallel wires that form a pathway to carry address and a data and control signals. So this is a definition of a bus. A bus is a collection of parallel wires that perform a path to carry address, data and control signal. So that the correct answer is wires. Option number A, wire. Third question. Which among the following is the fastest memory in a computer that holds the information? So the options are register, main memory, cache memory, and random access memory. So what are these? Register means what? Registers are the temporary storage areas located inside the CPU. After the CPU gets the data and instructions from the cache or a RAM, the data and instructions are moved to the registers for a processing. This is called register. And simply, the registers are the temporary storage areas located inside the CPU. Then second option, main memory. What is a main memory? Main memory we can also call it as a primary memory. So primary memory are the temporary memory that holds the data and instructions in temporarily. Then third option, cache memory. The cache memory is the high speed memory that is available inside the CPU They speed up the access of a data and instructions stored in the RAM memory. In simply, the cache memory is the high-speed memory that is stored in between the CPU and also the main memory. This is called the cache memory. The last option is RAM. The RAM stands for random access memory. But what does it mean that the computer memory is essential for the short-term memory where the data is stored as the processor needs it. This is called the RAM. So out of these options, the correct answer is that cache memory. What is a cache memory? The cache memory is the fastest memory, that is a high speed memory in a computer that holds the information, so that the cache memory is the correct options out of these options. Next is the question number 4. Dash is the app which is used to connect all the necessary components of a computer. The options are motherboard, USB, bus, and register. So what is the correct answer here? The Dash is the app which is used to connect all the necessary components of a computer. So option A, it is motherboard. What's a motherboard? The motherboard, it is also called the system board. It is a main circuit board inside the computer. So all the components, all the necessary components inside the computer that has to be communicated through this the motherboard. So that the motherboard, it is a hub which is used to connect all the necessary components of the computer. So that answer is the motherboard. Then what is a USB? USB, it is a port that gives a single or standardized or easy to use a way to connect a variety of the new peripherals like the printers or scanners or digital cameras or webcams or etc. Then what's the bus? So already I told that the bus is a collection of a parallel wires that form a pathway to carry the address, data, and also the control signals. So register is also, I told that registers are the temporary storage areas located inside the CPU. So in this, the question number 4, the correct answer is motherboard. Motherboard, it is a app which is used to connect all the necessary components of computer. Then question number 5, the CPU is fabricated as the single integrated circuit chip, and it is also known as what? So options are monitor, options B is a RAM, option C is a microprocessor, option D is the SDRAM. So option A, monitor. Monitor means what? The monitor is the electronic output device that is also known as the video displaying unit. So in this, it is used to display the images, text, videos, or anything that is generated by the connected computer via the computer's video card. This is called a monitor. So RAM. RAM, it is a random access memory. So that the RAM, it is essential short-term memory in our the computer system. So microprocessor. So microprocessor, it is that it is the single integrated chip, and it is also called as the microprocessor, the CPU, the central processing unit. It is a fabricated as the single integrated circuit chip, and it is also known as the microprocessor. In this, the tiny chip contains entire computation engine. The microprocessor is plugged into a motherboard of the computer. So example for the microprocessor here is that Intel. Intel, it is the one of the example for the microprocessor. The last option, it is a SDRAM. It is a synchronous dynamic random access memory. So in this, the question number 5, the correct option is that option number C, microprocessor. Then the question number 6, expansion of BIOS. Options are binary input output system, then basic input output system. So option number C, basic integrated output system. The option number D, basic integrated on system. So which one is the correct answer? The correct answer is basic input output system. Simply we can call it as a BIOS. What is a BIOS? The BIOS, it is a small chip on the motherboard that holds a set of instructions to load the hardware setting required to activate the various devices like the keyboard, monitor, or a disk drives. The BIOS runs when the computer is switched on. It performs the power on self-test that checks whether A, the hardware devices are present and work functioning properly or not. This is the functionality of the BIOS. So simply the BIOS expansion, which is that the basic input-output system. So question number 7. Dash is an opening in the computer where you can insert a printed circuit board. Options are slot, port, bus, and USB. So that what is a slot? The slot is an opening in a computer where you can insert a large printed circuitry board. So that the slots we can also call it as the expansion slot because they allow you to expanding capabilities of a computer so that we can call it as a slot. Then what is a port? The port and interfaces are used to connect the external devices like printer, keyboard, scanner, the computer. So that is called port. The bus. Bus is a collection of parallel wires that form a pathway to carry the address, data, and controlling signals. Then option D, USB. USB port, it is the easiest way to connect a variety of new peripherals like printers, scanners, digital cameras, or etc. So that the correct answer is the slot. Slot is opening in a computer where you can inserting the printed circuit board that is called motherboard. Question number 8. Expansion of PCI. Options are peripheral component internet. Option B, port component interconnect. Option C, peripheral computer interconnect. Option D, peripheral component interconnect. So that the correct answer is peripheral component interconnect. What is a peripheral component interconnect? PCI, it is a slot. These slots are used to connect the graphic accelerated cards, sound cards, internal modems, and SCSI cards so that they are much faster so than the other ports. So that is the peripheral component interconnect. It is expansion of PCI. Question number 9. Dash provides a path to transfer data between CPU and memory. Options are data bus, option B, address bus, option C, control bus, option D, none of these. So data bus means what? Data bus, it provides a path to transfer a data between CPU and memory. Option B, address bus, it connects the CPU and RAM with a set of lines of wires similarly to a data bus. Then control bus, it is used to control access to and the use of the data and address line. So which one is the correct answer? Option number A. So that option A, data bus, it provides a path to transfer a data between CPU and also memory. Question number 10. Dash is used to control access to and the use of data and address lines. Options are option A, data bus, option B, address bus, option C, control bus, and option D is a none of these. So already I told us the definitions. Data bus, it provides a path to transfer a data between CPU and memory. Address bus, it connects the CPU and RAM with a set of lines of wires. It is similar to a data bus, and the control bus is used to control access to and the use of a data and address line. So that the correct answer is option number C, control bus. Then the next question, the question number 11, dash bits of data are sent in serial port. Options are option A 4 bit, option B 2 bit, option C 8 bit, option D 1 bit. So that the correct answer is 1 bit Serial port, it is also known as the communication port. So they are used for connecting the communication devices like mouse and also the modems. So in this, the serial port, it transfers the data serially one bit at a time, so that it needs a single wire to transmit the one bit of a data. Hence, it takes 8 times longer than to transfer a byte. So then, so that the answer is that one bit of a data are sent in the serial port. So that answer is the option number D, 1 bit. Then question number 12, expand USB. What is the expansion of USB? Options are universal serial bus, option B, universal sequential bus, option C, uniform serial bus, option D, none of these. So what is a USB? USB, it is a plug and play interface devices between computer and also the add-on devices. That is, the new device can be easily added to the computer without adding any adapter card or even the turn of the computer. So that the expansion of the USB is that correct option, option number A, universal serial bus. Then the next question, the question number 13, which of the following is a plug and play device? Options are option A SMPS, option B UPS, option C USB, then option D is a port. So already the last questions we have to be define the USB. USB is a plug and play interface device between the computer and also the add-on devices. So that the correct option is option number C, USB. Then question number 14, expand SDRAM. Options are simultaneous dynamic random access memory, option B synchronous dynamic random access memory, option C synchronous double random access memory, option D none of these. So which one is the correct option? What is SDRAM? SDRAM, that is synchronous dynamic random access memory. It's a type of the memory that are synchronized with the clock speed that the microprocessor is optimized. So that it is a definition of the synchronous dynamic random access memory. It's a type of the dynamic random access memory. Option number B is a correct answer. Synchronous dynamic random access memory. Then question number 15. And dash converts AC power from an electrical outlet to the DC power needed by the system component. So what are the options here? UPS, option B USB, option C port, option D SMPS. So what is the UPS? UPS is a power supply that includes a battery to maintain the power in event of a power failure. So that is called UPS. What is a USB? USB is a plug and play interface between the computer and also add-on devices. So then option C, port. The port and interfaces are used to connecting external devices like the printers, scanners, and digicam, etc. Then option D, SMPS. An SMPS, it converts an AC power from electrical outlet to the DC power needed by the system component. So that the correct option is option number D, SMPS. An SMPS converts an AC power from an electrical outlet to the DC power needed by the system component. So SMPS means what? The expansion of SMPS is that switched mode power supply. This is the expansion of SMPS. Then the question number 16, and dash is a power supply that includes a battery to maintain the power in the event of power failure. The options are option number A, UPS, option number B, USB, option number C, port, option number D, SMPS. So that the correct answer is option number A, because A UPS is a power supply that includes a battery to maintain a power in event of the power failure. An UPS keeps a computer running for the several minutes or several hours after the power failure. So that the correct option is UPS. The question number 17. Dash of a CPU is defined as the frequency with which a processor executes instructions or a data is processed. Options which are integrated chip, option B, clock speed, option C, register, option D, none of these. So in this, the questions, option A, it is the integrated chip. What is the integrated chip? So it is an IC chip is an assembly of electronic components in which the hundreds of the millions of transistors, resistors and capacitors are interconnected and built up with the thin substrate of the semiconductor material that is called integrated chip. Option number B is the clock speed. The clock speed of a CPU is defined as the frequency with which a processor is execute instructions or the data that is processed. That is called clock speed. The option number C, registers are the some temporary storage areas located inside the CPU, that is called register. So that the correct answer is option number B, clock speed. Then the next question, 18th question. Dash is a small chip on the motherboard that holds a set of instructions to load the hardware settings required to activate the various devices like keyboard, monitor, and disk drives. Options are slot, option B, port, option C, BIOS, option D, CMOS. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is that BIOS. So option number C, Y, N, K. So that is option A is a slot. The slot is an opening in a computer where you can insert the large printed circuit board, that is called slot. The port, it is the interface are used to connecting external devices like the printer, monitor, so, or the any other digicam, etc. So BIOS. So BIOS, it is a small chip on the motherboard that holds a set of instructions to load the hardware settings required to activate the various devices like a keyboard, monitor, and disk drives. This BIOS runs when the computer is switched on, so it performs is power on self test because it checks it is if the hardware devices are present and functioning properly or not. So that is a function of the BIOS. So that the correct option is BIOS. Then what is the CMOS? CMOS, it is the expansion is complementary metal oxide semiconductor. It is a type of the memory chip. It stores the date, time, and system and setup parameters. So that these are all the parameters are loaded every time the computer is started. So that is called CMOS. The next question is, Dash is a type of a memory chip to store the date, time, and system setup parameters. The options are slot, port, BIOS, and CMOS. Already, the last question I told that the CMOS. The correct option is the CMOS. The CMOS, it is a complementary metal oxide semiconductor. It is a type of the memory chip to store date, time, and system setup parameters. Then question number 20. Dash is the circuit which enables the CPU to communicate with hard disk, floppy disk, and other kind of disk drives. Options are disk controller, option B, hard disk, option C, integrated chip, option D, none of these. So what is a disk controller? Disk controller, it is a circuit that enables the CPU to communicate with hard disk, floppy disk, and also other kind of disk drive. Then option number B is the hard disk. It is also called as the hard drive. It is the magnetic storage medium for a computer. So that is, it is a secondary example for the secondary storage devices. Option number C, it is an IC chip. So IC chip, it is an electronic component in which the hundreds of millions of the transistor, resistors, and capacitors are interconnected in this type of IC chip. So last option is none of this. The correct option is that option number A, disk controller. disk controller. It is a circuit which enables the CPU to communicate with hard disk, floppy disk, and also other kind of disk drives. Next question, expand SMPS. Options are switched manual power supply, switched mode peripheral system, switched mode power supply, none of these. The correct answer is switched mode power supply. What is the SMPS? Switched mode power supply. SMPS, it converts AC power from an electrical outlet to the DC power needed by the system component. So here the SMPS, it is a metal box in the rear of the system that is attached to the computer and to the system board. This is called SMPS. The expansion of the SMPS is switched mode power supply. So this is the end of this session. Thank you so much. If you like my videos, please do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for the notification of the new videos. Thank you so much.